All those discussions along the way of imagine it happens in a final. Well, it did, and at the moment, Caro, what was your take on it, and what happens next?
Oh, look, I think you might say they reached the right decision, but they reached it the wrong way. I honestly believe, and please don't make Richmond jokes, I honestly believe Richmond supporters deserve an explanation as to why that was deemed a point, because it hasn't been explained to me by anyone at the AFL. All the AFL could say to me when I've spoken to them is, but it was a point. And he should have kicked it better. No one has explained how they overruled the goal umpire. When you do talk to the AFL, they say, well, my understanding is that probably the goal umpire in future, there will be no onus on him to even make a call.
Well, they have to make some call to trigger the review. They can't work without it.
Well, no, they won't.
You never get any decisions made that way.
No, the umpire would just say, I don't know what it was, we're having a review.
Well, that can't work because you need a starting point of anything in order to...
I think we're moving... Look, 4 umpires on the field next... 4 field umpires next year. Are they working towards 6 at some point and no boundaries? I think it's going to be a different world. And I thought there was a smugness about the AFL. They had a brilliant weekend, but that was messy. And any excuse to have a crack at Damien Hardwick, who was a thorn in their side and who has made some unsporting comments over the journey, any excuse to pick on Richmond, they made negative...
That's overtly defensive.
They made negative comments about Brendan Gale for not fronting the media after the Dustin Martin video. Well, Brendan Gale was at the airport, no one doorstopped him. They doorstopped Gillan McLaughlin.
Are they making these comments to you, or did they make them publicly?
Just generally. Some people at Brisbane were wondering why someone said, oh, Richmond didn't even come to our AFL said they didn't even come to our official function. Well, there were 4 or 5 official functions. I mean, it's that nitpicking. I heard Andrew Demetrio a few weeks ago on 3AW say there are knocks on Brendan Gale. Look, they have a huge respect for Peggy O'Neill. They have a huge respect for what that club has done, but you just feel that it dates back before the hub, but they didn't like Richmond's behaviour in 2020 and they're still banging on about it.
Just quickly on the review, where do you sit? Do you think the system needs reform?
Yeah, I've got no idea. It's not anything I spend any time thinking on. I think getting fitness out of being important for umpires is a good move, though, for what it's worth.
I think, Caro, they have more vision than there was another set of vision.
But don't you think that they probably could have showed...
Well, my point is this, show us everything you see.
That's what I mean.
There's no point... I think they know they're right, but don't want to reveal.
Members deserve to see that.
They don't want to reveal the ball trajectory.
Surely they have it. They would have shown it.
They have it and haven't shown it.
Why would that be?
I'm with you on that. I think
Craig's right. I've spoken to someone closely involved with it, and they swear that the vision demonstrates it was a point. Well, why not show it?
Yep. And the Tigers will take from that a lost year, won't they?
What I like about Richmond is they put in 6 or 7 kids, and they took those 6 or 7 kids into the finals, but what they've lacked is the defensive DNA, which won them premierships. I know that happens when you bring in 6 or 7 young kids, but they're involved in so many tight games, so they're not that far away. But they don't... you see how tight and defensive some of these good sides are. They don't have that to me anymore. They get caught in a lot of games. So losing to the Suns, Geelong and these sides wouldn't lose a tight game to the Suns. You know, North Melbourne getting caught in a shootout in that situation. So I think... with getting another pre-season into the kids, I don't think they're that far off, but I think they have to tighten things up, in my opinion, defensively to where they were a number of years ago. That's just my thoughts on the Tigers.
The question on everyone's lips, well, I mean, I think Damien Hardwick said it after the game, but he spoke again tonight on Fox Footy about Dustin Martin.
We spoke to him at a meeting today. 100%. He's in our camp. It probably frustrates us a little bit, the constant media speculation, because it just adds a click. The reality is he's with us for another 2 years. Get used to it.
I absolutely agree with that, but I think they don't need a new commitment from Dustin Martin because he's got a 2-year contract worth a lot of money. But surely, Matthew, they need to get some form of mental pact between Dustin Martin and the club that he's going to be really with them next year.
Well, did Damien say there in that clip that he's...
So he was focused for a big pre-season.
Yeah, so we take him at his word. Now, I've been one who asked and questions, is he hungry with the money that he's on, all those types of things. But what's your take, Sam, on that? But what concerned me was if you're on 1.3 and if you're 90% in, that would worry me. But I take Damien at face value there.
Yeah, I think the way Damien has been pretty consistent throughout the year. And I think the thing with Dusty is even when he was absolutely at his best, sometimes he didn't look like he was leaving it all out there, but he just looked so good. And so sometimes when he's not playing as well, he looks similar, but we are critical of his body language.